Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the stories happening just beneath the headlines. This week, two stars from two of reality TV's most famous families made headlines for wildly different reasons. On one side, you have this incredibly joyful announcement, and on the other, a terrifying health emergency. Now, you might look at these and think they're two totally separate events, but they're actually deeply connected by this shared world of faith, family, and the really intense pressures of fame. Okay, let's get into it. So to really understand the connection here, we've got to start by looking at the two very different headlines that really set this whole thing in motion. First up, we have Jana Duggar, the eldest daughter from the 19 kids and counting family. She just shared the amazing news that she and her husband, Stephen, are expecting their first child. She called it a dream come true, and honestly, it's a moment her followers have been waiting on for years. But at the exact same time, a much scarier story was unfolding. Erin Bates Paine, from the show Bringing Up Bates, was in the ICU literally fighting for her life. Her husband, Shad, shared that she'd gone into septic shock just 1 week after giving birth to their 7th child.
So how in the world are these two women connected, other than just being reality TV stars? Well, their ties run a lot deeper than you'd think, and it all starts with their families.
It's kind of wild when you look at just how parallel their lives have been. Both Jana and Erin grew up completely in the spotlight on these huge shows about their large conservative Christian families. And get this, both families have exactly 19 children, and they've been super close friends for years.
And yeah, that friendship, it has literally become family. Their worlds are so tangled up that Jana actually reconnected with her husband, Stephen, after his sister married her brother. So now they're officially in-laws, merging two of reality TV's biggest dynasties.
Okay, but this is where it gets really interesting, because that shared background is exactly where their stories take a hard turn in completely opposite directions. It shows how one ideology can lead to two very different results.
You see, Jana's story, it's like the perfect script for the community she comes from. After so many years of public chatter about why she was still single, she has this celebrated marriage and now a joyful first pregnancy. It really is the storybook ending everyone hoped for.
But Erin's journey, man, it's a whole different story. And this recent scare, it's not some random out-of-the-blue thing. Her health struggles have been public for years. We're talking multiple miscarriages, a blood clotting disorder, and major surgeries that led to her having an ovary and her gallbladder removed. On top of all that, doctors had already warned her about how dangerous more pregnancies could be.
And this latest crisis, the one that landed her in the ICU, it happened right after the birth of her 7th child. 7th. And that number becomes even more significant when you look at the timeline.
See, the key thing here isn't just that she's had 7 kids, it's the pace. This timeline shows her last 3 babies were born really close together. And this is all despite a statement her husband made back in 2019, saying that Erin's health was their biggest priority. So you can probably guess, this huge contrast between a dream-come-true pregnancy and a life-threatening complication, it absolutely blew up online. The debate got intense, and people were really divided.
A lot of people were just really concerned. You see comments like this one all over the place, basically saying, hey, your kids need you here and healthy, and questioning the decision to keep having more children given the risks.
Then you had the other side, right? People jumping in to defend them, arguing that, complications like a UTI can happen to anybody, no matter how many kids they have, and that it's not fair to blame their family size for this health crisis.
And then a third perspective popped up. One that tried to add some cultural context. This person uses the term fundy, it's short for fundamentalist Christian, and they suggest that in this community, taking these kinds of health risks isn't seen as being reckless. Instead, it's viewed as the ultimate act of faith, of trusting God's plan above all else, even over a doctor's advice.
So let's step back from the online comments for a second. What's the big picture here? What do these two stories, side by side, really tell us?
At the end of the day, this is so much bigger than just two reality TV stars. These stories are a really powerful look at what happens when deeply held religious beliefs about having a large family run up against the very real physical limits of the human body, and it's all playing out on a massive public stage.
And all of this really leaves us with one big complicated question to think about. When a family's personal faith is also their public brand, where do you draw the line between devotion and danger? And that's a question with no easy answers.